guys, what's going on? It's Average Bob here. In today's video, we're going to recap the terrible Giants-Lions game, as the Giants were terrible on offense, defense, special teams, and all coaching as well. Not a lot of good things that we could take from this game, really, at all, in my opinion. So I think, I'm just going to talk and let the highlights play in the background because, there weren't really too many good highlights for the Giants in this one. I think one major issue, let's just get started with the offense, right? Saquon wasn't able to get anything in this game. The Lions actually got to give them credit. They did have a good game plan. They stacked the box against the Giants and were like, yeah, if you run it, we're going to have 8 guys in the box. And that didn't allow the Giants to get anything really going offensively, and they didn't really try to get all too creative except for a couple sweeps to Matt Breida on the 4th and 1 and stuff. But this game is not a good sign of things to come, I would say. They were getting creative with plays like that, but I think, and we'll also keep talking about the offense as we go through, but the defense, kind of looks like what they have been looking like against the run, right? I think Jamal Williams had 3 touchdowns. The other guy had 1 too, so it was DeAndre Swift had 1. It's our rush defense is so bad, and we only took a couple steps, I think backwards as well. So many guys get hurt, and that plays into the coaching side of things. I do love Brian Dable, and he has done a lot of good things so far this year. But one of the main things for that is, when we have our starting cornerback, who's a major player on our defense, who's having such a great season, play as our starting punt returner, that is something that can really bite us in the ass when they get hurt returning a punt early in the game. Now you're down a man. And they also lost, I think, Fabian Moreau as well. So you're down a couple guys on defense, and they were never able to really pick up the slack. We're in trouble here because we don't have a starting cornerback now, and we're already thin at defense with Xavier McKinney being out too. So there's a lot of young guys in the secondary that are going to need to step it up, and I don't know who that's going to be because when you look at the short rest that we have now, playing the Cowboys on Thursday on Thanksgiving after they just beat the absolute shit out of the Vikings 40-3 yesterday afternoon. You're seeing the Cowboys hitting their stride, peaking. Everything looks great for them from the few plays that I saw. Tony Pollard was just having a day, makes so many plays. Their defense is incredible. Micah Parsons running all over. I saw they put him at linebacker and he had a sack. It's just insane. So they're hitting their stride, and we just hit our lowest point. So I'm very, very nervous going into this game now. And then just jumping back to special teams quickly, and we'll keep talking about it throughout the runtime of this video. But what we saw from a special teams perspective, I think we missed 2 extra points. Obviously, it was pretty windy. And then I really can't stand our punter, the Scottish Hammer or whatever his name is. He just doesn't do a good job of pinning teams deep. And, once a game he has a 30-yard punt that just comes out the side of his foot. And it just sucks, too, for this guy, Wan'Dale Robinson, finally having, sort of his breakout game with 100 yards. And then he gets pushed out of bounds and tears his knee. It's you kind of can't make up what's happening right now because it's just so, the Giants of old the last few years when it's injuries are piling up and then you start playing bad football on top of it. So it's just the worst we're in, the worst part we could be right here. And you know what I said before the game? All the Lions fans were talking shit, saying that I was underestimating them. And yeah, I said the Giants were going to win big, but I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive because the Lions' defense still isn't that good. And they do score points, but it's usually because they're trailing. So, and to give the Lions credit, I said that they were gritty, that they do have a good rushing attack between Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, and that was true. The Lions are gritty. They have good coaches. Like what I said when I was watching Hard Knocks, when you look at all the coaches that they have, Aaron Glenn, and I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but they have good ex-former players that are coaches now, and you see that translate. Obviously, if you get off to a bad start, you could string together a couple of games, a couple wins during the season, and kind of turn your season around. And this is a huge win for the Lions. I think it was just at the expense of the Giants also playing their worst game so far. And then the Giants are down, and they're having to really pass the ball. I think what you're seeing too with the Giants, their passing attack, when they aren't in, when they're not running play action or anything. I mean, this is a terrible example for what I'm saying about the Giants pass, allowing pass rush because the Lions weren't even blitzing anyone there. But yeah, Shane Lemieux, god awful comeback for his first time starting again. Like, he's just lost completely. Like, this is a pretty basic blitz, and look at him. He's just not. He just stops moving his feet, and then the other guy is coming. So, this was a lot of what happened. Daniel Jones is having to run for his life and make plays on everything that was a drop, sort of, just regular shotgun offense where, they're not using play action. And at the end of the game when they were trying to, like, just do a quick play action, that's when it would get open. But that was a bad one on 3rd and 9. You got Jihad Ward. Obviously, was he dropping back into coverage on this one? Or where is he? Yeah, it was trying to be creative, but look, his body's turned that way, and this guy just comes right under. Bryant Lackstar, Tom Kennedy. So the Giants have a lot of things on film that they really need to fix very, very quickly. And that's the biggest thing right here is this rushing attack where you're getting, 11 yards on 1st down. And let's just look at it again. I don't even think anyone touched him until he gets 9-10 yards. And this is what the Cowboys do really well. They did it against the Vikings, who have a pretty good defense. And that's what the Cowboys did against us earlier in the season. So if the Lions are gritty, they could do this kind of thing and, make it an ugly, gritty game. The Cowboys, I would probably see them mimic a lot of what the Lions did. Not that they really have to mimic the Lions, but there's stuff on tape that can be replicated from what an opposing team does to the team you're about to play. So that kind of makes me nervous. Slayton, the resurgency continues to Slayton. For Slayton, you did see Richie James come in again. And the whole Richie James thing, he scored a touchdown at the end of the game. The Richie James is him just being a bad sort of player, or he's really, he was cut in the preseason by another team, picked up because we really needed bodies. And he has this impact where a couple weeks ago when he dropped that punt and ruined the game, and he also got hurt, well, then that makes them not confident to have him back there as a punt returner, and that in turn leads to the collateral damage that you saw yesterday between Jory Jackson returning punts and getting hurt. So it's crazy when you look at it, like the longevity of a season, how one little thing in one game affects you so big down the road. This guy Hodgins, like, the Giants fans on social media were so pumped about him, but it's like, how good are guys when they get cut from other teams, right? What exactly can they bring? They were cut from another team. Like, do we want guys off the scrap pile and say that they're going to be good because the Bills have all these great wide receivers? Well, you saw later in this game, or maybe it already happened where he had the fumble, but shit like that ruins games and really takes the wind out of the sail. And then you get your kicker here who, I guess kind of why they didn't go for 2, but once it was explained to me. But I would probably just go for 2 there and then make it a touchdown and field goal game. Again, Giants secondary is pretty banged up here, and you're getting free runners across the middle. I got to look at who will probably take over that role for the Cowboys from the passing perspective, because I think the Cowboys haven't done all too much really, throwing with, like, Michael Gallup came back and he hadn't done much. So I got to look a little bit more at the tape, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, besides having a cool-ass name, he's really good wide receiver, and he kind of changes the game a little bit. Like, I did hear when I was driving around yesterday morning on the fan that Amon-Ra St. Brown hasn't scored a touchdown since week 2, which is kind of crazy when you see him, put up pretty good stats for a Lions wide receiver. I will say Andrew Thomas, again, just looked absolutely stellar. And then, you get another costly fumble. Obviously, the Lions were kind of dominating this game, and when they do get the ball back, they're going to run it. But when you don't even give yourself a chance, I think that's super frustrating. Nick Gates back out there playing, Shane Lemieux. So you're getting guys back, and I saw Matt Pert playing a lot too. He kind of looked pretty bad because they lost their other right tackle to like a neck injury, I think, early on in this game. So injuries are piling up, bad tackling. I mean, this is a great play by, was that Swift or whoever 42 was? You know, you're doing shoulder tackling, you're going high on guys. It's just, this isn't the kind of football we need to be playing at this point in the year. And respect to the Lions, man. They had their game plan. I saw Pat McAfee on Instagram posted Dan Campbell's speech after, and he's, you know, Campbell's an intense guy. He's screaming. He's got his vein bulging out of his neck. The Richie James revenge tour. Yeah, there he goes. At least he didn't celebrate like an asshole. And then, you know, when you get backup guys in, like, this is a great throw by Danny Dimes. The guy's right here in the breadbasket. Like, what the fuck is that? 49. I don't even know if I remember watching this part. But look at 49. Like, where are you going now? Oh, he just thinks he's getting the ball in play action, but then it's wide ass open. Injuries are this game is really bad with injuries, and then I don't know, man. I don't have a really good feeling going into Thanksgiving at this point, but you know, time. It's the NFL. Anything could happen. Giants haven't played in a Thanksgiving game, and I don't know the actual stat off the top of my head. I don't know. It's been like ever, or maybe like the 80s or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous. So I wish I had a little bit more positive things to say, but I really can't at this point in time because this game was just so bad, and I don't know how it's going to shake out from here. So we'll come back with a preview on Wednesday and touch on maybe if there are any paths for the Giants to win this game. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day, y'all.